Welcome back. It's a look at finance. First Vice President Jenny Montgomery Scott, Stephen Carlton. By this point, you don't really need introduction.
But you know I still like it, though.
Well, and
the fact that you do it makes me happy.
If you like it, I will do it.
Thank you.
I'm here to please. That's all I really am here to do.
It's a great start.
All right. We're going to start with some international news.
Yes.
I mean, we try to keep it local, but in this case, it'll eventually trickle down to Main Street here.
For certain. Yeah.
Europe entering recession again.
Absolutely. So what happened news today, the European economy slower than expected, the GDP numbers coming out, more contraction, more slowing in that economy. And that's not great news for Europeans. It's not good news for them on the unemployment side. You know, some of the news breaking today about Greece, you know, these young people under 25, 60% unemployment there. Some really dire, very, very difficult situations. Yeah, the youth unemployment across Europe, which is becoming a problem, and as employers are cutting back, I hear about this from my mom a lot, who lives over in Scotland. Mm-hmm.
A lot of unemployment, a lot of problems on the job front. Of course, this is going to have a trickle-down effect to us in a good way and a bad way.
Yes.
Let's get the bad way out of the way first. It could threaten a recession here again in the U.S.
It's definitely slowing the U.S. economy down. There's no doubt about it. Europe is a big consumer for us, whether we're General Electric or Pepsi or AMD, you know, all the different plants locally. We ship abroad, we ship global. So as Europe slows down, as Japan slows down, it makes it harder for the U.S. to grow at the pace we were used to last year. Yeah.
The good news here, I guess, is the euro's dropped 3 cents since last time we talked about this. You were talking about this last week, that the euro, the potential drop in the value of the euro will have a ripple effect to us here in a positive way. As the euro is coming down, the dollar is starting to see an uptick, which is great, of course, for traveling to Europe.
Yeah, if you're going to take a vacation, it may be a good time to take a look at it, you know, this summer. But also, you know, a lot of the things that we buy in the grocery stores, a lot of things we buy in the department stores are made in Europe or overseas. And so with a stronger U.S. dollar, our U.S. dollar is worth more. We can buy more things with that. So some of the costs associated with living, buying things, those prices are going to come down. So that's good news. If it's a weak dollar, it makes things hard, you know, a little bit more inflation. Food prices go up, gas prices. So a stronger dollar is good for us.
The talk about gas prices, it could potentially mean lower gas prices here in the U.S. We've seen them steadily rise over the last couple of weeks. As the euro comes down in value, we could see that have a trickle effect.
Yeah, you know, I think we're at near the peak of the season. You know, in the wintertime, temperatures are going to start to get warmer, the days are going to get longer, and as the economy slows down, there's less fuel used. And so when demand goes down, prices start to come back. And so I think we'll probably see some of that pressure being alleviated. Of course, that assumes that we don't have any problems in the Middle East or, you know, any political things that would stir it up. But I think the trend is going to be for lower in the next couple of months.
Lower gas in the next couple of months. Of course, earlier in the show, we saw Gary Dake, president of Stewart Shops, based in Saratoga Springs. We asked him today about the economy, how it's doing, and also, of course, the rise in gasoline prices. Why don't we take a listen to what he has to say? We'll talk about it on the end of this.
Yeah.
You know, the economy's been tough for everybody. I mean, we are facing, you know, very high gas prices. We're facing high unemployment, rising cost of health care, food inflation, but I just saw a statistic last week that was talking about gas pricing, or what consumers pay for gas, being the highest percentage of their annual income since the 1980s. That obviously means they have less money in their pocket. For us, the good news is we have the opportunity with our own plants and our own distribution to be able to continue to offer products at a value level, and so that the pricing is such that people can still afford it, and that our value is even appreciated more.
Gary Dake talking about how they're controlling the manufacturing of what they do, so that helps them to keep prices down. Is that really true, though? You know, obviously they're not producing their own gas. They are producing a lot of their own Stewart's brand products, but they also are buying the ingredients for that from somewhere.
Right. I mean, the more that they control in the supply line, the less pressure there is. The fact that they package it themselves, the fact that they can manufacture a lot of these things, they have less pressure for inflation than some of the other stores, the franchise stores. So they have a little bit more control on that. But he raised a very good point. You know, Mr. Dakes talked about higher gas prices, you know, getting in the way of consumer spending. You know, we were looking at Whole Foods before he came on the news tonight. Yeah. We looked at some of these other places. People don't have as much money, so they don't spend as much. They don't buy as many clothes. They're not going out and seeing the movies as often. There's those kinds of pressures. And gas prices really have a way of slowing down our economy when it comes to consumer spending.
I guess for the Stewart's Corporation, even though their gas sometimes is a few cents more expensive than other gas stations, they've previously addressed that and said that at some of their stations, which are older, the tanks are smaller. So they have to deliver gas more times in a week, which of course increases their distribution costs.
Right.
Where they're making their money seems to be on the coffee, on the bagels, on the things like that that people are getting in the morning on their way to work.
Stewart's has got it down to a science. They've been doing this for a very long time in the community, and they figured out what do the people in the community want. The items that they have in the store are very strategic, and people go there day after day, year after year, because they know what they're getting. It's consistency. And the other part is it's a small town family business. I mean, even though Stewart's has grown and it has incredible growth over the last 20, 30 years, it still is a small town business, and everybody can kind of relate to that. And you can't help but root for the local family business.
Small town business has done very well for itself, making over $1 billion in profits over the last year. From to the other end, Whole Foods, or as it's nicknamed, Whole Paychecks, is opening in the Colony Center. Construction's already underway on that. If you're familiar with the Colony Center, they're going in the first floor of the Sears store. Coming out today that Whole Foods, their shares tumbled after they said that their outlook for sales over the next year are coming in lower. They lost 9.4% on their stock price. Not just Whole Foods, but we've got all these grocery stores, Healthy Living in Wilton, the Fresh Market that could be opening in Saratoga Springs, all these grocery stores that are this high end and this outlook from the major player in the market.
Well, one of the things that we saw over the last 5 years is when the economy got difficult, people, instead of going to Hannaford or Price Chopper, sometimes they chose to go to Walmart, where things are a little bit less expensive. These are destination places to go and get food that's healthy, it's organic and everything else, but everyone is aware of the fact that it costs more. And so people would be a little bit more hesitant to spend that money if they just don't have it to go around. And so that's one of the things I think you're going to see with a lot of these types of stores. People may want to shop there, but maybe not be able to do quite as much because of circumstances.
Yeah, definitely. Real quick before we go tonight, let's take a look at some of the numbers of love.
Yes,
Valentine's
that's right.
Day. Americans spend nearly $13.2 billion a year on Valentine's Day. That's a crazy amount of money.
I think we're going to give the French a run for their money.
Yeah, on Valentine's Day. Yeah, 13. A real big boost for the economy. The average American consumer. We can change it to the next one. Let's move it. All right, I'll just tell you. It's $116.21.
That's a lot of pressure. I saw
That's a lot of money.
I'm like, ooh, I gotta, that's a lot of money.
$116, I don't think I would spend that on Valentine's Day, but I guess flowers, chocolate, everything adds up.
Yep.
$403 million for the floral business. Of course, that's great for the local economy.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Lots of florists, and just finally, the top 4 sellers: cards, candy, dining out, and flowers.
I wrote that down earlier just so I don't forget.
So you have that. You have that. Take a note.
Yes.
Those are the top sellers. Just a look at some of the numbers of Valentine's Day.
It drives the economy. All these things are huge drivers for the local there's flower shops, everything else.
All right. Stephen Carlton, first vice president of Janney Montgomery Scott. He's got his love heart right there.
There it is.
A lover, not
Happy
a hater.
Valentine's, everybody in the community. Hope you have a great night. Good luck.
And he's available for dates, too. Steve Carlton, first vice president. If you want to check out our segment, as always, we invite you to head to the website. It's looktvonline.com.